Today on Bike Racing Without Mercy, I look at strength training on the bike and also in the gym in order to help improve power and remove imbalances. But first I overreach, aka fail spectacularly on one of Zwift's tougher training sessions. My ability to delude myself as to what may be possible still knows no bounds. Welcome to Friday morning on Bike Racing Without Mercy. And on the deck today is a Zwift training session courtesy of GCN. And I'm hoping it's going to help me become a bit more combative in my racing, because it comprises 12 sets of 2 minutes at 260 watts, interspersed with 12 sets of 45 seconds at 375 watts. And I'm feeling pretty nervous ahead of this one. The only thing I can be sure of today is that it's going to be a very tough session and will utilise a hell of a lot of muscle glycogen. So in addition to my usual protein shake and caffeine, I've also had a full-fat Coca-Cola, because that gives me a very easy to digest source of carbohydrates in the form of sugar. I'm hoping that will give me the extra energy and endurance to complete the 12 sets. Let's see. Okay, 5 seconds from the first set at 375 watts. It's going to be a hard one. Yeah, that was horrible. Let's hope the nervous system warms up into it. The 2 minutes have literally just disappeared. 5 seconds from the second set. Trying to focus on the breathing. Five seconds from the third set. Super tough. Five seconds from the fourth. Way too ambitious. I should have known better. Well, that was an epic fail. And it was a classic case of being sat on a couch the evening before, taking a look at potential training options and thinking, yeah, that looks doable. Clearly it wasn't. Anyway, my nervous system is well and truly warmed up, and I transitioned to the Watt Bike Hub, where I'm going to try and build a little bit of strength in the saddle and keep the cadence below 70, aiming at 260 to 300 watts for little 5-minute efforts, which will include 1 minute of standing. I'm hoping that will pay off both in the hills and on the flats, because if I can push a higher gear for longer, obviously my power and speed are both going to increase. Three minutes rest, just coming on to lap 8 for the fourth set of strength work. Get the gear right this time. I was on 18 last time by accident. And I'll report back. .234 on lap 8. 2:38. hard work. Legs are burning. Looking forward to standing. Or am I? 3:30. 19. It's really hard here. Rescued it. Three minutes rest. That man. That 10, 2:45. Up gear. Super high. That was 5 sets of 5 minutes with 3 minutes rest. So that very much mimicked a strength training session in the gym where you might do 5 sets of 5 reps with 2 to 3 minutes rest in between with a heavy weight. Whereas here I did 5 sets of 5 minutes in a big gear with 3 minutes rest in between. And I feel like I had a really good testing workout and I've recovered from the failure at that GCN session. Well, my nervous system is well and truly fired up. So I'm going to see if I can hold more than 400 watts over a minute on lap 12. Yep, just about. But that was deeply unpleasant. But I just did it. In the gym, at the end of a heavy strength session, we would call that a back off set, to really fatigue the muscles and drain the last bit of glycogen out of the system, ready to refuel. But I do feel very good having done it. I certainly don't have another one in me. I'm just back from my Saturday morning strength training session in the gym, where, as you'll see, I've added in a bit more single leg work in order to address some of the weakness and imbalance that I discovered on yesterday's bike strength training session, where as the gearing goes higher and the cadence dropped below 70, I found that my left leg was about 47% of the effort, whilst my right leg was 53%. So I'm hoping that adding in some more single leg sets is going to help me address that.
As has become recent habit, I'm starting off the day's gym session with a single leg variant of the deadlift using a 24 kilogram kettlebell off the floor. Now I'm doing this in order to fire up my hamstrings, quads, glutes, core, plus also the stabilising muscles ahead of the bigger compound deadlifts. Now throughout this movement, I'm trying to keep my back straight, my chest up, and the off the ground leg straight with the heel pushed back towards the wall behind me, plus maintain a tight core, and then to hinge at the hip and squeeze the glute. Now you'll see that the wobble is caused a little bit by me failing to engage my core fully, but also from the fact that my left leg is slightly weaker. Moving on to the right leg, you'll see that my technique is better, the movement is slightly crisper, and I'm generally a little stronger and more stable. Clearly for me with my woeful sprint, any improvement in power is going to be very welcome indeed. So I go on to complete 3 sets of 8 reps for the single leg deadlift and 3 sets of 5 paused reps for the dumbbell split squat, working my way up to 30 kilogram dumbbells in each hand. For the dumbbell split squat, it's really important to grip the dumbbells tight, maintain chest up, shoulders back, tight core and a nice upright position. You then plant your front foot firmly onto the box in front, and your rear foot should be set at a distance that maintains nice stability and allows you to stay on your toe. Then, as you descend into the movement, you squeeze your hamstring, and at the bottom of the movement you pause for a count of 2, again squeezing the hamstring, and then as you contract upwards, you're squeezing the quad but pushing through the heel and the full foot. Having comprehensively warmed up the posterior chain, the quads, the core and of course all the supporting muscles, it's now time to move on to the main compound movement in order to build some strength and power. And here I select once again the snatch grip deadlift. And to recap on the movement, I take some deep breaths and engage my core. I then take a wide and tight grip on the bar and engage my lat muscles, keeping them tensed and tight. I take the slack out the bar and get my chest up and keep my back arched and my hamstrings nice and tensed. And then I push the floor away from me with my feet and extend upwards, preventing my arms from bending. And I pull the bar into me all the time, keeping my knees pushed out in order to help get my glutes involved as quickly as possible and push through with the hips to complete the movement. And all the time, I'm emphasising keeping my chest up and my back nice and straight in order to maintain a nice, safe position throughout. The conventional deadlift has a narrower grip, and as a result, you don't have to get down quite as low in order to initiate the movement, and that means you can lift heavier weights. But despite this, I've come to really love the snatch grip deadlift because the wider grip makes me get down lower and has helped me build flexibility. And it also makes me emphasise engaging my lats, initiating the movement through the heels, keeping my knees out, and then putting the bar into me and trying to engage my quads and glutes as early as possible in order to help complete the movement. Finally, I decided to use the leg extension machine just to explore the extent of the imbalance between my left leg and right leg, because it's now becoming clear from the single leg work in the gym, but also the data from Wattbike's hub, that my left is a little bit weaker than my right. Starting on the right hand leg, I undertook 10 reps with a 2-second squeeze and pause at the top of the movement, and I was trying to identify at what point the pace of the movement slowed down. And you'll see here on the right hand side that generally the pace was very strong throughout. However, when I moved on to the left hand side, you'll see that from rep 7 onwards, the pace started to slow off, and by rep 10, it was very much materially slower than on the right hand side. Again, confirming everything we've just been talking about, that I need to work a little bit harder to remove the imbalance on my left hand side.
I'm going to have a relatively quick training session on Wattbike's hub today in order to give me some data to assess my pedalling technique at a more normalised resistance and cadence, i.e. circa 85 to 90. I'm looking to train in and around the sweet spot, circa 250 to 290 watts. And I may chuck in a few 15-second sprints as well to spice things up. Today I'm continuing to train on a low-fat, low-carb protein shake with some caffeine. It will help with a bit of fat loss, although as I've said, body weight reduction is certainly not my main goal. Well, as is my way, I forgot to hit the in-game record. I got about 10 minutes into things, so I'm going to have to start again. Take 2. Lap 6. 14 seconds. I'm going to carry on as before. Aiming for 250 to 290 with a few sprints chucked in. Time for a sprint. Any second. 3 minutes. Second sprint. That's hard. Sprint coming up in about 10-15 seconds. Yeah, it's going to be really hard to keep doing that. Next sprint, coming at 9:30. 9:17. Yep, nasty. $12.30. Coming up for another sprint. Here we go. $15.50 coming up for another sprint. Yeah, all right. 17:30, 2.5 minutes to go. $18.30. $19.30. Yeah, horrible. But I can report, that is a really good workout. I averaged 281 watts over the 20 minutes and had 6 sprints, 5 of them 15 seconds at 375 to 400 watts, and the final sprint 30 seconds, all of it over 400 watts. And my pedaling technique was pretty good. I was 51 on the left in terms of balance, 49 on the right, but in terms of power efficiency transfer, the right was still a fair bit stronger than the left, with a score of 65 versus 60. So clearly, you know, the strength work in the gym is hopefully going to remove that particular imbalance. I can very much recommend this as a training technique. In and around sweet spot with some sprints, because there's a hell of a lot of crossover for the flat racing, but also the climbing, where the periods of really high intensity are relatively brutal but short-lived. Anyway, none of this advice. Do whatever it is that you want to do, whoever you are and whatever you do. Please remember to live, thrive and subscribe.